That's broadly, I think, ladies and gentlemen, just some general ideas on reinvention. But one other concept along with that I'd like to introduce, and again going back to the Narasimha story. During the course of reinventing himself, Vishnu figured out the loopholes, as I said in the boon, and he regrouped essentially his physical and mental aspects to take advantage of those loopholes. And that's something I think the IT industry can do as well, this regrouping, as I called it. It's often been pointed out to me that the Chinese word for crisis is also the Chinese word for opportunity, and I think that's a good mindset to have. So I truly believe that this adverse situation in exchange rates should be viewed as a glass half full. Of course it affects margins, but I think there is an opportunity here to take advantage of this loophole and to buy for ourselves what we don't have in the Indian IT industry, regroup your structure to meet the challenge. So to me, the fact that our currency is valuable, and increasingly so, and despite the recent market carnage, our price-earnings ratios are still relatively respectable, means that we can finally acquire the front ends that we need, or even further, acquire the large IT businesses that we couldn't afford to do before. And the bigger the better. If we are being egged on in Indian IT industry to leapfrog, then we should also be cheered on in our bid to acquire companies that seem as if they are larger fish than us. And it's happening once again in smokestack industries where we can draw inspiration. Tata Chorus in steel being a stellar example. And one closer to home for me, at our own group, in the last 24 months, starting from scratch, by acquiring companies in Germany and in England, we have built the 4th largest steel forging companies in the world. And as I said, starting from a clean sheet. So in effect, by acquiring the strengths and skill sets you need, you are going to be able to regroup your structures and create a new entity, which can vanquish your challenges as effectively, I believe, as Vishnu vanquished Hiranyakashipu. So finally, while reinventing yourself, I think you're going to have to bring some aspects of the third element of the Trimurti, and that is of Shiva the Destroyer. Destroy, for example, the premise that cost arbitrage is the way to go. Recognize that the high volume offshoring and outsourcing battle has frankly already been fought and won. Often, someone has once said that when strategic frames go rigid, then companies, like countries, tend to keep fighting the last battle. I think we have to get out of that mindset. And if we are not already on the winner's list, we need to think of other ways in which to compete on value and differentiation rather than price and scale. Destroy, I think, the premise that success comes only from size. And let's resist comparisons with other Indian IT companies. I think there are still a lot of us who define success as wanting to be one of the top 10 Indian IT companies, one of the big ones. Why not, for example, we want to be the world's #1 banking back office solutions provider? And lastly, perhaps the time has come to destroy the notion that the world may be your oyster, but India is not. There is a huge and burgeoning market in both middle class and corporate India that has not been plumbed. From even selling to the bottom of the pyramid today is proving to be profitable. But it needs creative destruction of the current mindset, and it needs a rethink on many of the assumptions that we hold so dear. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, there perhaps really isn't much difference between avatars in the mythological sense and avatars in the technology sense. In their different ways, they both underline the same message, that it is necessary in any difficult situation to reinvent, regroup, and rethink your way out of any challenges that confront you. I'd like to finish with one of my favorite quotes. It's such a favorite that I frankly can't remember where I read it or who said it. But the quote went like this: "My father thought that the world would be the same every day when he woke up. My children, however, wake up every day knowing that the world will be different." Let's begin by emulating our children I think it's time to wake up and make the world different. Thank you very much.